Tonight, imagine a small room with warm light. A kettle is quiet on the stove. A window shows a dark street, and inside you can see your own face in the glass. Maybe you are tired. Maybe you are smiling. You lift your phone, and for a second you hold still. Click a picture of you in your own home in your own moment. Why do we do this so often? Why do we want our face in a picture, again and again? How did this habit become normal in daily life? Why does a selfie feel like proof that we were there? And how did a simple photo turn into a message about hope and identity? In this episode, we learn English through a real, simple story. We follow photos, phones, and modern habits. We move slowly with clear words so you can listen, understand, and feel confident. Long before phones, people wanted a picture of themselves. In many places, a painted portrait was expensive, so most people did not have one. But the wish was still there. People looked into mirrors and wondered, what do I look like to others? They wanted to be remembered. They wanted a safe place, like a home for their face. Self-portrait is a picture an artist makes of their own face. Some artists did this many times. Why? Because a face changes. Because feelings change. A self-portrait can say, I am here, and also, I am learning who I am. So the first secret is simple. Selfies are not totally new. They are a modern form of an old human need. Then photography arrived. Early photos were slow and serious. People had to sit still. The photo studio was like a small stage with careful light. A photo felt like a big event. You did not take many. You saved them. You sent them to family far away. A photo could travel when a person could not. That is why photos became a language of gratitude and survival. Here is a gentle speaking prompt. Listen to this phrase. I want to remember this. Say it with me. I want to remember this. As cameras improved, taking photos became easier. Cameras became smaller. Film was still limited, so you chose your moments. You took a photo at a birthday, a trip, or a new home. You took a photo when you wanted to say, this matters. But there was a problem. In many photos, the person behind the camera was missing. Parents took photos of children, but parents were not there. Travelers took photos of places, but not their own face. So people used timers. They asked strangers, can you take a picture? They held the camera out and hoped. Have you ever asked a stranger for a photo? Did you feel shy? That feeling tells us something. A photo is not only a picture, it can also be a moment of trust and kindness. Now we reach a turning point. Photos began to move from paper to screens. Step by step, cameras became digital. That means the picture becomes data, like tiny pieces of information. You can keep many photos without buying film. You can delete the bad ones. You can try again. What happens when you can try again and again? You become playful. You experiment. You take a photo just because the light is soft. You take a photo because you feel hopeful. You take a photo because you want to send a quick hello. Still, it was not yet the selfie world we know today. To take a picture of yourself, you often had to guess. You could not see the result until later. Then phones changed everything. Phones became cameras you carried all day. And then many phones began to have a camera on the front, facing you. This was a second turning point. Suddenly you could see yourself while taking the photo. You could adjust your smile. You could find better light. You could include a friend. Why did this feel so powerful? Because it solved an old problem. The missing person behind the camera. Now the person taking the photo could also be in the photo, without asking anyone. At first, many people used selfies for simple reasons. I am with my best friend. Look at this view behind me. These are small stories. But small stories are the fabric of daily life. As the internet became faster and more common, photos started to travel quickly. People could share a picture in seconds. The photo was no longer only for a family album. It was also for the conversation of the day. This is where a selfie becomes more than a self-portrait. It becomes a message. It says, this is me, right now. It says, I am part of this moment. It can also say, I need connection. How do we decide which selfie to share? Why do we care about angles and light? And how did a simple habit become a mirror for our feelings? In the beginning, sharing was private. You sent a photo to one friend. Later, many people made online profiles. A profile is a public page about you. It needed a picture. So the selfie became a kind of hello to the world. Because we choose the photo, we feel some control. We can show confidence or softness or humor. We can hide a bad day. We can share a good day. Is that always honest? Not always, but it is human. We all want to be seen, and also to feel safe. We will keep walking through this story, step by step, with warmth and clear English. Because the selfie became a hello, it also became a small performance. Not a big stage like the old photo studio, but a tiny stage in your hand. You look at the screen, you check the light, and you choose the moment. So another question appears. Who are we talking to when we take a selfie? Are we talking to friends? To family? To strangers? Or are we talking to ourselves, trying to hold hope in a busy day? When photo sharing apps and social networks grew, people started to react to pictures with quick signals. A heart, a thumbs up, a short comment. These reactions feel small, but they can feel strong inside us. Because humans learn from feedback. We learn from faces, from words, from attention. That is why selfies changed again. Many people began to take not one selfie, but several. They picked the one they liked best. They learned their good angle. They learned where the light makes skin look soft. Is that shallow? Sometimes it can be. But it can also be practical. When you meet someone new online, you want to look friendly. When you apply for a job, you want to look reliable. A picture is a fast story, and we want our story to feel kind. Here is a second speaking prompt. Repeat after me. This is me today. Again, this is me today. Soon, phones offered new tools. You could crop the photo, meaning you cut the edges. You could brighten it. You could add a warm tone. You could smooth the skin. You could add a playful sticker. These tools were not only for art, they were for emotion. Then another turning point arrived. Filters. A filter is a change you put on a photo to change color or shape. Some filters are gentle, like sunlight. Some are dramatic, like a mask. Many people used filters for fun. But some people start to feel pressure to look perfect. Why does perfect feel so tempting? Because it promises safety. If I look perfect, maybe people will like me. If people like me, maybe I will not feel alone. But real life is not perfect, and real faces are not perfect. That is normal. So the story becomes complex. Selfies can bring confidence, and they can bring stress. They can help us connect, and they can also make us compare. Comparison is when you look at someone else and measure yourself against them. It can steal joy if we are not careful, so we need a calm breath and a little gratitude. Have you ever looked at a selfie online and thought, they look happier than me? Have you ever thought, why don't I look like that? If yes, you are not strange. Many people feel this. Because of this, some people pushed back. They started to post more honest selfies. They posted tired faces, messy hair, simple mornings at home. They wrote captions about real feelings. This was a bridge moment. Instead of erasing selfies, people adapted them. They gave them a new meaning. Not only beauty, but truth, and truth can be gentle. A selfie can say, I am not okay today, but I am still here. It can say, I am healing. It can say, thank you for your support. It can invite kindness. Selfies also became a tool for community. Friends took group selfies to celebrate birthdays. Couples took selfies to mark a small anniversary. Parents took selfies with children to keep a memory of growth. Grandparents learned to take selfies, sometimes with a funny angle, and everyone laughed. Why does that feel so warm? Because it shows tradition changing, not disappearing. There is also a practical reason selfies stayed. Many services began to ask for a face picture to prove identity. Sometimes you need to show that you are a real person. This can be convenient, but it also raises questions about privacy. Privacy means keeping personal life protected. How much of our face do we want to share? Where does the photo go? Who can save it? The answers depend on the app and the rules, and sometimes the rules are confusing. So people learned to be careful. They shared with close friends. They thought more before posting. Selfies also became part of work for some people. They taught cooking, makeup, fitness, language, or travel. A selfie could be the start of a story. Come with me. It could also be an invitation. You can do this too. Is that good or bad? It depends. It can inspire hope. It can also create pressure. The story is not one simple answer. Let's practice one more short line. Listen to this phrase. Be kind to yourself. Say it with me. Be kind to yourself. Because selfies are often about the self, and kindness matters. Sometimes the most powerful selfies are not about beauty. They are about survival. A person might take a selfie to say, I'm still here. A person who moved might take a selfie to say, I'm starting again. A person who overcame a hard time might take a selfie to say, "I made it." We should be careful, because every story is different. We do not know all details behind a face. A smile can hide pain. A quiet selfie can hold deep gratitude. So when you see selfies, you can ask a softer question. What is this person trying to say? Connection, joy, help, a simple hello. And what am I trying to say when I take mine? Because the selfie is a habit, yes, but it is also a small mirror. It reflects our need for home, for light, for hope, and for being seen. And being seen is not only about looks, it is also about place. When you take a selfie at a market, on a bus, or in your kitchen, you are saying, "This is my world." You are saving a small piece of time. So let's look at one more mystery. Why do we take selfies even when nothing special is happening? Because modern life moves fast. Days blur together. A selfie can be a tiny pause, like a bookmark in a book. It can help us notice the light on our face. It can help us feel, "I am real, I am here." But a selfie is also a social object. It lives with other people. That is why in many places new manners formed. Manners are the small rules of kindness in daily life. Some people ask before posting a group selfie. Some people take a selfie quickly and then put the phone away, to return to the moment. Some people choose not to take one because the moment feels private. Which choice is right? Often, the kind choice is the right one. Have you ever been with someone who took selfies for a long time? Did you feel bored? Did you feel invisible? That can happen. A camera can pull attention away from the people in front of you. So the selfie asks us to balance two needs: the need to record and the need to be present. There is another reason selfies became so common. Travel and I was their culture. When we visit a famous place, we often want a picture with our own face in it. Why? Because a building alone could be any building. But your face says, "This was my step, my day, my weather." It turns a place into a personal memory. Yet even here we can ask, do we need proof, or do we need meaning? Sometimes we take the selfie quickly, and then we truly look around. Other times we chase the perfect shot and miss the sunset itself. That is why some people make a small rule. One selfie, then eyes up. Here is a short practice line for that balance. Listen, let's enjoy this first. Say it with me. Let's enjoy this first. It is a polite sentence. It protects home, friendship, and gratitude. Another change also shaped selfies. The camera became part of our face in real time. With video calls and short videos, we see ourselves while we talk. This can help us learn, because we can watch our expressions. But it can also make us self-conscious. Self-conscious means you worry about how you look. Why do we worry so much? Because we imagine an audience. Even when nobody is watching, we feel watched. The selfie culture can make that stronger. So some people created new habits. They took fewer photos. They followed accounts that felt kind and honest. They tried to make the phone a tool, not a boss. Other people use selfies in a different way, for support and hope. In hard times, people shared selfies to show they were safe. They shared selfies with friends to say, "I miss you." They shared simple morning selfies to say, "I'm still trying." These photos were not perfect, they were human. And that is why they helped. Many communities also used selfies to welcome others. New students took selfies on the first day of school. New workers took selfies on the first day of a job. People learning a language took selfies with a notebook or a small sign to say, "I'm studying." Why is that sweet? Because it shows effort. It shows survival in a quiet way. If you are learning English, a selfie can even become a tiny speaking habit. You can take a selfie, look at it, and say one simple sentence about your day. Not to post, just to practice. For example, "I feel calm," or "I feel tired but hopeful." Short sentences are strong. Let's do one more gentle prompt. Repeat after me. "I am proud of my progress." Again, "I am proud of my progress." That sentence is not loud. It is warm. Now we should also talk about the future, because habits keep evolving. Phones continue to change. Cameras become sharper. New apps appear. Some people now use tools that can change a face a lot. This raises questions about trust. When a photo can be edited easily, how do we know what is real? The answer is not simple. But one healthy idea is this. Treat photos as stories, not as proof. A selfie shows one moment, one angle, one feeling. It does not show the full person. That is why we should not judge too quickly. And we can choose how we use this habit. We can use it to show gratitude. A smile after finishing a hard week. We can use it to show kindness. A selfie with a friend, with permission, to celebrate them. We can use it to hold hope. A quiet photo on a difficult day, just to say, I will keep going. So, why do we take selfies? Because we want connection. Because we want memory. Because we want to be part of our own story. Because the world is bright and noisy. And sometimes we need a small square of light that says, this is my life. Next time you take a selfie, maybe take one extra breath. Feel the room around you. Notice the light. Think of one kind thought. Then, whether you share it or keep it, let it be a gentle moment, like a small lamp in your home.